Hello, welcome back. We're going to dive into part two now. So I apologize for the length of part one with some of the more difficult topics with the improvement plans and, of course, removal from clinical practice and how that all works. My hope for all is that no one has to go through any of that, but if you do have an improvement plan, that is something where we're trying to get you to be able to show mastery and get on the right track. And that's the goal of all learning, is to get on the right track. So anyways, getting back to where we're going here, journal reflections where I stopped. I hope that makes sense. Your college supervisor can walk you through what they're asking. Typically, what I'd say is do two of the video lessons where you watch yourself teach early in your student teaching. Some of your first teaching can be video lessons. That way you can really focus on the things that you want to improve on. Things like walking around the classroom more, making sure that you use different methods to ask questions instead of just the traditional game show approach. Maybe you're using like a thumbs up, thumbs down approach, or some way that students are writing on a whiteboard. Point is, you want to find out early some areas that you kind of want to focus on and improve, because that will help your student teaching experience. Okay, so let me kind of go from there. There's not a whole lot more left. I just ran out of time on this video. The big thing I want to focus on that in this part two is the concept of SMART goals. So it's an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. You have a time-based situation here. You have a semester to show how awesome you are, but we want to not just say things like, oh, well, I'm going to improve on classroom management. We really want it to be more specific. So something like, within the next 2 weeks, I want to make sure that when I'm teaching, no students are interrupting me, or no students are having side conversations. So what am I going to do to work on that area? Other areas might be specific to your focus on certain students and helping them. A lot of the educator growth portfolio focuses on differentiation of instruction. How do you change instruction to help certain students? What are you doing to help individuals or small groups of students? So you can focus on that aspect as well. One of the concerns I often have in schools today in America is we're quick to label, quick to assess students and label them as needing help. And then we have the problem where students might be in the same low group year after year after year. When I first came to Wayne, I met a student who, if you've had me in class, you've heard this story before, but I met a fifth grader and I asked him how school was. And the fifth grader said he doesn't like school. I said, why not? And he said, well, I'm always in the low group. Every year I'm in the low group, and it's really just frustrating. And that bothers me. And so look at those students who might be identified in being in a low group or needing certain help, and think about how you can help them. What can you do to focus on them and provide resources for them? So this concept of you and your SMART goals can be focused on improving certain students and theirs. So you're focusing on how you're going to help other students, and that's one of your SMART goals. All right. Here's what you're going to want from your supervisors, and you want to communicate that to them. They've been trained in this as well, so you're asking for the same thing. So let's start kind of go down these things. You want them to tell you as soon as possible what they saw and what they liked. So this is from their training. I told them to really focus about 24 hours or less to give you an evaluation and say, here's what I saw, here's what I liked, here's what needs to be improved. Most of you are probably really good teachers already. I've worked with several of you in classes before. What we want to do is push you from being a good teacher to being a great teacher. Now I'm going to put it out there. Many teachers in schools today are very good. However, they might not necessarily be great, and they might not have certain techniques that they're doing that are probably the best for students for helping with learning mastery. Maybe they're really good at keeping kids busy. Maybe they're really good at making lesson plans that are clear and effective, but they don't really do a whole lot in terms of learning. So we want to push you from good to great. What skills can you develop? What can you learn in the time you have? focus that kind of feedback. You want feedback that's like that. Of course, you want your feedback to be confidential and respectful. Confidential does not mean that your college supervisor is not going to talk to your cooperating teacher. We actually really want them to. We want everyone who's working with you to be together, but in a respectful way. So no comments that are really putting you down, no comments that are really personal, but more focused on you and your teaching career. All right. Make sure that when someone's giving you feedback, you understand what that feedback is. If they use a term or a concept that you don't understand, ask for clarification. I remember my first couple of years of teaching, and there was oftentimes I had mentor teachers using acronyms all the time. And those acronyms sometimes would just kind of I'd kind of pretend that I understood what they were saying, or using this method, using this thing. And sometimes these were just, fad ideas that came in schools, and even today, people don't use them anymore. So it's one of those things, ask for clarification. So if someone's telling you if they're saying you're not using the MAP method, and you're like, well, what is the MAP method? And they'll explain what it is. I'm thinking gradual release of responsibility, and people, the GER method, right? So anyways, point is, if you don't understand something, feel free to ask. Make sure that you don't feel like if a cooperating teacher or college supervisor is just patting you on the back and telling you, oh yeah, you had a great day, just say, okay, well, tell me something what I did that you really liked. Like, what was something I did that was really great? Like, what can I improve on? So kind of really ask for that praise. If they give you a praise statement, that's great, wonderful, but feel free to ask, like, okay, I'm really glad you think I had a great day. Can you tell me something I did really well so I can document it and do it again tomorrow? And that goes to the last piece, providing models and examples as needed. One of the things that I really focused on in the college supervisor training was we want to avoid telling students to just fix something like classroom management, because that comes up a lot. We often have college supervisors say, well, you know what, you just got to improve your classroom management. But that doesn't really work for me. I need you to be told, if you're going to improve classroom management, I want you to make sure that you have all students paying attention to you while you're walking around the classroom, while you're instructing. You need to make sure that the students in the back are listening, or the students on the side are listening. Make sure that you are observing them as they do their work. Those are more specific than just improved classroom management. Okay, so sorry for part 2 here. I know I kind of went fast, and I thought this would be one video, but I hope it's understandable. Your college supervisor will probably reach out to you within the first week of student teaching. Some of them reach out earlier. That's their right. They're allowed to. But from a contract, in terms of when they actually start getting, when they're under our contract to be an employee of Wayne State, it's after that first week that you've been placed in the school. So if they go earlier, that's their ability to reach out to you and start the ball rolling. But if they wait till that first week, that's the norm. They're not doing a bad job. They're just doing what the standard job is in terms of waiting a week for you to get situated with your college supervisor. Sorry, cooperating teacher. Normally you'd work with a cooperating teacher for a week and then your college supervisor, but some of them like to contact you earlier. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm going home, and I'll make some more videos this weekend. Thanks. Bye.